So coming to this realm of the microbiome, it is realm, territory. Looking at what this is, so sometimes gets referred to as our beneficial bacteria. Those in the gut are often referred to as probiotics. So pro for biotic, meaning bacteria, just like biome means there's like a colony of bacteria, micro meaning small there. So the microbiome refers to the microbes living inside us, not just in the gut, but as we'll look at, all over the parts of our body that tend to meet the outside world, and the gut meets the outside world because the things that we take into our body, if they're not taken across the gut wall and digested, so that sweet corn that is seen in the toilet bowl intact, never technically went inside our bodies. It's moved through constantly on the outside of the gut wall. So this is what the microbiome refers to, things that meet the exterior. We can include the gut wall in that as an internal extension of our skin on the outside. So all of these places are where the microbiome, these microbes living inside us, with us, on us, are, that we evolved with, that outnumber our own body cells, more cells than we have. And we evolved with them, meaning that they've always been with us and part of us since we were the creatures before we came into this modern human creature, very much part of our evolution and part of our genetic landscape. So the gut microbiome in particular is the one that tends to get most press, maybe most understanding, but that's really being opened out now, weighs about 2 kilograms, which is quite amazing, more than our brain, the weight of our brain, which is about 1.4. And may have just as much influence over our bodies. And we're really starting to understand more and more how that is the case. And that kind of research is really in its infancy, particularly on the nature of that communication and signaling. So our core microbiome, that which is kind of foundational, is formed in the first few years of life. And we do also get some of our the microbiome material from our mothers, the placenta in the womb, and then through the vaginal canal when we birth. It's one of the reasons that cesarean births have certain particular issues involved around them, and it's really being understood now, particularly that skin to skin after coming into contact with the mother's microbiome on the skin is really important. And if we haven't had that first journey through the vaginal canal, then how do we colonize with those bacteria that we may have not had contact with? So we have that core microbiome, but that can change over time in response to different factors. Diet really comes into it. What is most conducive to supporting this life inside us? Medications, particularly antibiotics, antibiotic as opposed to probiotic. So antibiotics will wipe up, out stuff that is harmful, pathogenic to us, but they're indiscriminate. They also wipe out that which potentially is working in tangent with this, is working towards our health. But also steroid medications, which can include the contraceptive pill, and also a variety of environmental exposures. Particularly, there's quite a lot of research done on this, on the microbiome and certain pollutants and pesticides, for instance. So mindful movement, embodied awareness, the stuff that we are practicing in classes together, in mindfulness practices, help to support this environment because they help to bring down stress responses and help us adapt to stress, to move through more smooth transitions in life, and produce the whole body environment that supports life within us. It supports our own life, our own healing mechanisms, and it supports the environment that's most conducive for these microbiome that we live with, we are symbiotic with, to also flourish. So you can see in this really excellent diagram here, which is from a culmination of quite a few pieces of research and a very good review, just showing which types of bacterial colonization are in different parts of us, but really here to show how extensive it is, not just the gut, the small intestine, and mostly the large intestine in the gut, but also out to the skin, into our genital region, our esophagus, the mouth, ear canal, right up into the nose and into the throat. So anywhere that essentially has a relationship with the outside world, as a first line of defense and as somewhere that is helping us to communicate appropriately with the outside world. And that outside world has its own microbiome. So it's everywhere, essentially. In the soil, I've been gardening today, got very soily nails, into the environment around plants, on plants. All of this very much the way that we are in communication with nature. So when we remove from nature, or we're too clean, over sanitized on our body, and thus our microbiome suffers, which it really does, particularly with harsh chemicals or harsh chemical sanitizers, for instance. So soap is good if you want to actually, do something that supports your microbiome and, kills off potential harmful invaders. Soap is so much better than something that is potentially going to kill off this huge part of your innate immunity as well. The stuff in soil and plants tends to be plant-based organisms. Some of those are the same as the ones that we colonize with. A lot of the ones that we have internally, in particular, are human strain or animal strain, which we often share with our pets as well, and they're incredibly good for supporting our microbiome. With pets, close contact with animals are known to have a stronger, more supportive microbiome and innate immunity. But these around us do support our own colonization and do support that flourishing.